Good morning, class. God bless you. How are you all? Class, today's topic is measuring volume, which is a derived unit of length. And this is chapter number 2, lesson number 4. Science and science fiction has always been the interest of the high achievers, and the people around the world must be reaching at the level maximum level of excellence when they made the wonders for the everlasting world. So we see how it happened when they reached accuracy in their dealings. Now today we will discover about the volume. I'm sure you had been listening and learning the term before, but today we will cover it as a unit which can measure the space occupied by a substance. This is a derived unit of length, and the SI unit for volume is meter cube or cubic meter. You can read it. And 1 cubic meter is the volume with length of 1 meter. When we when we cover the when we measure the length, we measure the distance between 2 points in one dimension. But when we measure the area, then we measure the length in 2 dimensions. But when we measure the volume, we measure the volume of length in 3 dimensions. Okay, you will study about them in detail. The further units of measuring volume is 1 cubic meter is equals to 100,000 centimeter cube. How it happened? I tell you, as 1 meter is equals to 100 centimeter. You remember that? So when we cube it, this much 0 comes. 2 threes are 6, so 6 zeros are coming. Then another very commonly used unit for measuring volume is liter, and 1 liter has 1000 ml into it. You standard a bottle of Pepsi or Coke you are drinking or buying, how many mls are there? You read it out. And 1 centimeter cube is equals to 1 ml. So 1 liter is equal to 1000 ml, and 1 centimeter cube is equals to 1 ml. You have to learn them. Okay, what are these utensils showing? These are different utensils or containers or apparatus used for measuring volume, maybe in the factory, maybe in the lab, or anywhere. Now, these are the commonly used utensils which are used for measurement of volume in our kitchen. Yes, because we are very particular. When we bake cake at home, we measure every constituent or ingredient in the right quantity and right volume. Okay. Now, how the volume of the regular solids is calculated? Again, with the help of formula, as we did in the area calculation. For a cube, we use the formula L cube. Like there are 3 lengths, as I told you, to be encountered. So we use the formula L cube. For a cuboid in which length and height is not equal, then we multiply all of the lengths to get the volume, that how much area is occupied by this cuboid. We will be including length and height and its breadth also. We can also measure the volume of a cylinder with the help of this formula, pi r square h, where h indicates the height of the cylinder and r indicates the radius of the cylinder. This the whole distance is the diameter, and when we divide the diameter into two halves, we get the radius. So by putting the values in the formula, we can accurately find the volume of a cylinder. Similarly, for sphere, 4 over 3 pi r cube, where r shows the radius, and we can also calculate the volume of the cone by formula 1 by 3 pi r square h. Then we have very specially designed instruments for the measurement of volume of liquids. You know, liquids are those materials which take the shape of the container because they are flowable fluids. So these apparatus in which measuring cylinder, this is a syringe used in medicine, and this is a burette, pipette, and volumetric flask. All of these glass vessels are marked with gradations on it, and these lines are showing us the reading, how much volume are occupied by them. Now when we use these glass apparatus to get the volume of liquids, we need to take the proper reading. And you know, whenever we fill water in some closed vessel, it gets the curve shape. This curve level may be upward, may be downward. This is an upward level and this is downward level. We call it as meniscus. The curved surface of the water is called as meniscus, as is shown here. So we have to read the lower line of the meniscus, like the lower line which is touching the reading. And the liquids which are showing upward level, we read this line. You know, there are certain liquids which show upward meniscus, such as mercury in the thermometer, but wetting solids or solutions having water in it mostly show this kind of meniscus. And you have to put your eye just in front of the level to avoid parallax error. Then we can also find the volume of irregular shapes. You know, science has the answer of all the solutions. What do? We take measuring cylinders and we fill the cylinder with a known volume. For example, this cylinder has 50 centimeter cube liquid or water already in it. Now we hang or suspend the material whose volume is to be determined with a string or thread. We hang it and we immerse it into the water. As it goes down in the water level rises. Now we read the new level of water, the rising level of water. When we subtract the final level of water and the initial level of water, we get the difference of volume, and this volume must be occupied by this irregular shape. This is not the only way to find the volume of the irregular shapes. We have another method, that's using a displacement can. You know, we take known amount of liquid in this displacement can. Then we suspend or immerse the substance whose volume is to be known, and we put a measuring cylinder which can read the exact volume of the displaced water. As we immerse or suspend or fully dip the object whose volume is to be determined using this method, the displaced water will come out of this spout. It happens. So the volume which is occupied by this pebble or irregular object will be exactly the volume of the liquid coming in the measuring cylinder. We read the volume of this displaced water which is coming out of this displacement can, and that volume is exactly the volume of the suspended object. Class, Today's task is you have to find the volume of the soft drink bottle, a drop of water, an orange, or maybe a key. You have different utensils at your home. I'm sure at least if you can't perform these activities at home, at least you can figure them out and you can ink them out on a piece of paper and think about them. And if you feel any difficulty in finding the answers, you can Google them. You have your textbook with you. So many helping materials are around you. You just think about them and learn the topic. And I wind up it here. See you. I will be coming with another topic tomorrow. God bless you.